and I love being in the kitchen. I've always loved cooking. So, and I love being in the kitchen. I've always loved cooking. So, and I love being in the kitchen. I've always loved cooking. So.
Oh my God. So, Meghan was in this podcast with Emma Grede, Aspire with Emma Grede, an entrepreneur and the first black woman to be in Shark Tank. And they were talking about business for 90 minutes. And if you think that's boring, yeah, you're absolutely sure it was. I was watching that at 2x speed, and for some reason it felt like 3 hours. So no, the math ain't mathing, and it was that bad. It was that boring. But in those 90 minutes, I got 3 brutal, blatant mask slips that, well, were worth it. One about she loving and liking to cook and be in the kitchen. We're going to be talking about this real soon. A second one about Serena Williams and her success, which didn't go well with Meghan. A third one about the future of As Ever, if there is a future, and a couple more that you absolutely must watch. But before we begin, you must know that my book about reading face emotions, my complete guide on reading face emotions, is right now at 50% off with the code MeghanLOL. So you get the code MeghanLOL and you can get my book at 50% off with the link in the description of this video and in the pinned comment to read any face of anyone in any circumstance, any conversation. So just go and get it. We're ready to begin, and we begin with a clip in which she describes her first experience with her friends that told her that her jam or her spread or whatever was not tasty or delicious, but was made them happy somehow.
Truth be told, I had just been making a lot of jams and preserves at home and sharing them as holiday gifts with a lot of friends. And it was one morning, beginning of the new year, so many friends at the same time had texted saying, I don't know what it is, but your jams just make me so happy.
I don't know what it is, but your jam is making me so happy. I found this odd because usually happy is not a word that you use to describe something that you eat. You say that it's tasty or delicious or something, but happy, I was wondering if it wasn't Doria that by accident she put some of her, her own stuff in the mix, and that's what made Meghan's friends happy. We don't know, but that was odd. You know that words have weight, but that was the start of the brand As Ever. She was talking about her show, she was talking about her podcast, she talked about all of that, but I found interesting this clip when they were discussing, and Emma mentions the possibility that As Ever might or might not continue as a brand.
And how are you really thinking about that? Because obviously the brand will live in between the show. It's going to live while the show, if the show doesn't continue, it will just, I'm assuming that the brand just continues to grow.
Of course.
So how
I saw Meghan with an absolutely, with a nod that is not convincing at all. It's like...
to grow.
Of course.
So how...
Of course, and there's this rapid blinking that she does. It's so fast. I'm gonna play it in slow-mo so you see it. Fluttering in the air. Oh my God, we know the show is gonna have a second season. We don't know if it's gonna have a third season. We have no idea. But as of the brand As Ever, oh yeah, they were talking about the restocking. Maybe we can talk about that clip in a minute. But I found it odd. That the question. I'm assuming
that the brand just continues to grow.
Of course.
So how...
Yeah, of course. A brand that was launched in 45 minutes was just kaput, and that's it? Is the end of that? No, it's gonna be restocking, but we still don't know when. But the clip about Serena Williams. Is really concerning because Serena's her friend, right? You could think that Serena's her friend, but this happened.
And my dear friend Serena, who I'm sure you know.
I love Serena. She's like my girl crush. Talk about successful entrepreneur, by the way.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's doing so well. She
She's
said to
killing.
me
I mean, she's
years ago-
literally.
You saw that? You spotted it? You see it? Okay, first of all, Meghan mentions Serena.
And my dear friend Serena.
And then Emma goes all fangirling about Serena. She is my girl crush. She is so amazing. She's so successful.
I'm sure you know.
I love Serena. She's
love
like my girl
Serena.
crush. Talk about successful entrepreneur, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that oh yeah was extremely condescending, and I can spot there's a bit of contempt in that smile. I see the left lip corner. Meghan's left lip corner is pulling a bit more than the right one, so I could say that it's a. I will give Meghan a pass. You know that in every video analysis I give Meghan at least 2 passes. I'm going to spend 1 pass on this one, but still that oh yeah was a bit I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, can we move on? Why are you saying that she's so successful? We are talking about me right now.
She's doing so well.
She is doing so well.
She's doing so well.
Okay, she's shaking her head. You know that sometimes we shake with our heads to emphasize something. She's doing so well. That is a possibility. But one thing that we absolutely do not do is that you see what she did with her jaw? Oh my God. There's a
She's
bit
doing so well.
There's a bit of a tension in there. Her jaw going to one side. It's like and I made sure to include the clip that goes immediately after that, just in case you have doubts. Oh, Jesus, maybe she was going to say something, and that something that she was going to say starts with no, she doesn't say anything. She makes a pause. In fact, she pauses.
She's doing so well.
She said to me,
notice there was a pause, there was a silence, she was saying nothing. So the jaw to one side, she is doing so well. Why are we talking about Serena? Why are we talking about that? You know that Meghan comes to these shows to talk about herself, and that's why when Emma, at some point when Emma was talking about, well, her own experience, this is not an interview, this is a podcast, so both the host and the guest get to talk maybe the same amount of time, or let's say 30 and 70%. But anyway, Emma was talking about herself, and now we know that if you're talking about yourself in the vicinity of the Duchess of Sausages, you better make sure that it's less than 15 seconds, because that's what took Meghan to go from delighted to bored out of her mind. Let's watch this.
You get it really wrong. God knows I got it wrong enough times. Oh my good. Yeah, because you know what? Certainly for me, there was such a sense of desperation to just get something done that the first person that was like, hey, we believe in you, I was like, great, me too, let's go. And there were parts of it that were enough times just get something done that and there were parts of it that
you notice that how interesting went. I'm going to play this by myself in slow motion, so you don't have to listen to Meghan's voice again. But this is in the first 3 seconds. Oh, you're talking about yourself. How great! How great! Meghan has a let's say it's a genuine smile. It's pressing the cheeks, and the cheeks are pressing the eyes. Looks a bit forced, but let's say it's a genuine smile. I'm not going to use a pass on this one. Please, Meghan is a regular guest in my channel, so let's give her some. Let's cut her some slack in here. First 3 seconds, then, okay, I'm getting bored. This is like okay. Can we switch topics and begin talking about me? I have only 90 minutes to talk about myself. Can we cut it off? And
something
then
done that the first person
and Meghan emits some kind of sound from her throat.
just get something done.
I was like, oh no, I want to talk about myself. And then,
Oh,
how
and there were parts of it that
interesting.
were
oh, how interesting. And she does that. Oh, she does that. Oh my God, you have to have, this is the actual clip in slow motion. Oh, how interesting. And she puts that face. Your 15 seconds of talking about yourself, Emma, are up. Can we move on to me? And right after that, she did this. I'm going to include a bonus clip. She did exactly this. I'm going to play this. Pay attention to her face. And the captions, of course. And then we're going to play it in slow motion.
bit. But when you look at this partnership,
She does it again. And then the heavy, rapid blinking. How many times?
but when you look at this partnership,
Oh my God, that was like six. I count 6 times. Oh, and she clenches her jaw because, yeah, you're 20 seconds talking about yourself. It's my turn to talk. So she clenches her jaw and blinks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. Just 5. Just 5 times in like what? In 1 second? Doing an and clenching her jaw and saying, I'm bored. Let's talk about myself. But at some point, she had the opportunity to talk about herself. Meghan had the opportunity to talk about herself. And it was that clip that we saw at the beginning. And I think that this is one of the worst mask slips that I've seen Meghan in my, let's say, in my YouTube career. You know that we have analyzed Meghan a couple times, more than a couple times. And I could say that this is already one of my top 3 mask slips ever. Let's watch this again as you saw it at the beginning of this video.
And I love being in the kitchen. I've always loved cooking. And I love being in the kitchen. I've always loved cooking. And I love being in the kitchen. I've always loved cooking.
I know that it can be hard to spot everything at once. It was really quick. And it started with a pacifying gesture of her fixing. She was fixing her sleeve while she was saying, I love being in the kitchen. And she does this kind of protective gesture, putting her arm over her chest. That is a protective gesture. She is looking down at the same time. Again, the shaking of the head doesn't mean much because you can say, I love being in the kitchen. And that's something that we can say. We can say that way. We could see anybody doing that gesture to emphasize the fact that someone loves being in the kitchen, but she's protecting herself, okay, fixing her sleeve. She is keeping her head down. I don't know about you, but I don't think this face is of someone who is actually delighted or happy with something. But this was maybe a transition phase. It was not an actual gesture. It was a transition from one expression to the other. The last one is that the one that I really found concerned. It is like this. This was the actual mask slip, and this was like one. I don't know which fraction of a second. It was like, I don't know how many frames, just very few frames, and right there. Does this look like somebody who likes kitchen and cooking? Right? Do you need an actual body language analysis of that? Well, this isn't a body language analysis. This is how you spot in milliseconds something that happens. That could be quite a challenge if you're seeing it for just the first time, or you're looking at somebody's face in real time and you don't have the luxury of, turning back time or watching in slow motion. You have to sit this.
And I love being in the kitchen. I've always loved cooking.
And I'm going to play this until this so.
And I love being in the kitchen. I've always loved cooking.
And there's another clip in which there's a close-up.
And I love being in the kitchen. I've always loved cooking.
You know how fast it was? But it's there. And that was the magic behind doing the slow motion. Again, this was painful to watch. 90 minutes. There are other clips that I'm going to discuss in my Royal Rogue channel. Make sure that you follow me on my Royal Rogue channel. It's more like royal gossip. This channel, the Body Language Guy, is more about my body language analysis. But make sure if you want the royal gossip, go for my Royal Rogue channel. And I will be discussing other parts of the interview in there because it was a little hard to digest. But from a body language perspective, it was absolute gold. Now remember that if you remember what was the code? With the code Meghan LOL, you will get 50% off my book on reading face emotions. All these emotions. How to read Meghan like this way and how to read anybody. Like we just read Meghan. You can do it with my book right now with the link in the description of this video and in the pinned comments. So, my body language buddies, my name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Body Language Guy, and there's another video in which Meghan had this huge mask slip that maybe you want to check it out. Much love and bliss.